Welcome to Viral Rap Daily Government Attorney, Mr. James. Why are you here today? David James. I've been subpoenaed. Attorney. Were you KZA's personal assistant from 2007 to 2009? James. Yes. Attorney. Who is that in this photo? James. That's me, David James. Attorney. You went to college in Michigan? James. Yes. And afterward, I faxed my resume to Bad Boy. Attorney. Where was your interview? James. At 1710 Broadway. Attorney. Who did you meet? James. Tommy, his sister Kesha, and others. Attorney. How did they test your skills? James. They gave me 40 appointments and asked me to create a schedule. I had to know details like what time certain radio shows aired, like those on Hot 97. Attorney. What did Mr. Combs ask you to do? James. He asked me to make a spreadsheet for Miami, showing I understood his food and restaurant preferences. Attorney. What did you say when asked why? You'd make a good assistant? James. I told him, can't stop, won't stop. I got the job. Attorney. Were there other assistants? James. Yes. Ms. Robles, Mr. Barber, and others. Attorney. What were your duties as his assistant? James. We worked at Bad Boy until 5 p.m., then went to dinner, then to the studio until 3 a.m. At the end of the night, we'd receive the call time for the next day. Attorney. Did you travel with Mr. Combs? James. Yes. Attorney. Who were on the security team? James. D-Rock, Bond, and Uncle Paulie. Attorney. How long did you work each day? James. Around 20 hours. The security team worked just as hard. Attorney. Did they give you any advice? James. Yes. They told me to stay in my lane. Attorney. Who said that? James. Bond and Uncle Paulie. Attorney. Who was his personal chef? James. Chef Jordan. Attorney. Did Mr. Combs have girlfriends during that time? James. Yes. Kim Porter, Sarah, Tara, Jana, and Cassie. Attorney. Do you remember your first conversation with Cassie? James. Yes, it was on Star Island. Carrie Morgan was there too. Cassie said, "This lifestyle is crazy." I asked, "Why don't you leave?" She said, "Sean controls my life, my music, and he pays for my apartment." Attorney. What did you discuss next? James. We talked about her music, but her album never came out. Attorney. Did you ever overhear any conversations involving Mr. Combs? James. Yes. He said, "Kim is my queen out in LA with my family. And, also, I have Cassie right where I want her. She's young and moldable." Attorney. Did you ever witness physical altercations between Mr. Combs and Cassie? James. No, I did not. Attorney. Do you remember anything specific, like a blog post? James. Yes, I was in LA when it happened. Attorney. After returning from a club, did Mr. Combs say anything? David James. Yes. He said someone was lying about him, claiming he hit Cassie at the club. Attorney. Did anything unusual happen afterward? James. Yes. He went through my browser. History. No one had ever done that to me before. Attorney. Did Mr. Combs give you any specific instructions regarding Cassie? James. Yes, he told me to bring her food at the London Hotel and some Roscoe's. Attorney. What is Roscoe's? James. It's a place in Los Angeles that serves delicious fried chicken. Attorney. What were your responsibilities in New York? James. I'd bring him applesauce, Jell-O, Fiji water, his toiletry bag, and grooming items like Just for Men. We bought around 40 items at a time so he wouldn't call us later. Attorney. What else did you do? James. I'd get a key to wherever he was staying, like the Trump International. I'd set up his medicine bag inside his personal Louis Vuitton bag. Attorney. What was in the medicine bag? James. Viagra, ecstasy, Percocet. Attorney. How did you replenish those items? James. I'd use my personal credit card, and Bad Boy would reimburse me. Attorney: Who usually paid you back? James: Usually bonds. Attorney: Did Mr. Combs ever stay in hotels alone? James: No. Cassie was usually there, sometimes other women. Attorney: Did he make requests during hotel stays? James: Yes. He'd text me asking for things like an iPod or food. Attorney: Did anything strange ever happen? James: Yes. In Miami, he asked me to bring him an iPod from his house on Star Island. I drove it to his hotel. When I knocked, there was no answer, but I had a key and went in to set up the room. Attorney: What did you see? James: Cassie was lying on the bed on her back. The shower was running. There was another person in the room who quickly scurried away. I thought Mr. Combs was in the shower. Attorney: Can you describe the other person? James: He was about 5'8", had long hair, and was physically well endowed. He left the room quickly. Attorney: Did you say anything? James: No. I wasn't hired to ask questions about his personal life. Attorney: Did you ever pick up drugs for Mr. Combs? James: Yes. Percocet, sometimes from pharmacies, sometimes under my name. Attorney: Did you give him permission to use your name? James: I don't recall. Attorney: Was there a drug dealer involved? James: Yes, there was someone we called One Stop. Attorney: Did Mr. Combs meet with a lot of people? James: Yes, including high-profile individuals, even former presidents. Attorney: Which president? James: Former President Obama. Attorney: What did you believe would happen if you didn't follow through on these tasks? Defense counsel objects, judge sustains. Attorney: Did you ever take ecstasy? James: Yes. I was drinking Ciroc, took ecstasy, and was Diddy bopping. Attorney: What do you mean by Diddy bopping? James: I was vibing, feeling the music, enjoying myself. Attorney: Did you speak with Mr. Combs about it? James: Yes. He was reviewing footage from the party when we talked. David James: We had a videographer who filmed the parties. One day he asked me, "Hey, Playboy, was that you dancing around at the party?" I said, "Yes." Then he said, "I'm going to keep the video in case I ever need it," implying it could be used to embarrass me later. Attorney: Did anything ever go missing? James: Yes, at one point they said a bracelet was missing. Uncle Paulie came to my hotel room and searched my belongings, and those of my girlfriend at the time. Attorney: Could you have refused? Defense objected. Judge sustained and told counsel to move on. Attorney: Were you ever asked to take a lie detector test? James: Yes. It was just me and the examiner. The experience was very intimidating. They hooked monitors up to my head, chest, and hand. Attorney: Could you have refused to take it? James: Not if I wanted to keep my job. Attorney: Did this happen again? James: Yes, when Mr. Combs claimed one of his watches had been stolen. Attorney: What was the result? James: The examiner said I seemed nervous. I told him, "Sure, I am." Attorney: Were others subjected to lie detector tests? James: Yes. Once, Capricorn Clark had to take one to prove she wasn't involved in a heist involving Mr. Combs's jewelry. Attorney: Was there an incident at Mel's Diner involving Suji Knight? James: Yes. I was driving a silver Navigator. We went there to get cheeseburgers. D-Rock pointed someone out and said, "That's mother-ing Suji Knight." He walked over and said, "What's up?" But Suge didn't recognize him. D-Rock said, "I'm Biggie's boy." Attorney: What happened next? James: Suddenly we noticed 4 black SUVs pulling into different sides of the parking lot. I saw someone hand Suji Knight a gun. D-Rock looked at me and said, "We got to get out of here." So we drove back to the house. Attorney: What did you find when you got back? James: Cassie was crying. Mr. Combs got into the vehicle. I saw 3 guns on his lap. Oddly, I felt calm, because we had switched vehicles from a silver one to a black one. I thought, they won't see us coming. Attorney: what happened at Mel's Diner after that? James: Suge Knight had already left. Mr. Combs told us, drive around the block. Attorney: why did you decide to leave the company? David James: they offered me other positions, but I just wanted to leave. I felt like my life was at risk. Attorney: no further questions. Defense counsel: you didn't say all of this the first time, did you? James: they told me to stop, to not say anything that could incriminate me. Counsel: look at the notes from your interview. Read them to yourself. Now look up at me. Okay. How do you recognize Suge Knight? James: I listened to hip-hop. Counsel: were you drinking or smoking marijuana at the time? James: no, sir. Counsel: was your mind clear? James: as clear as it could be, working 20-hour days and up at 4 a.m. Counsel: walk us through it. James: D opened the door. Suge Knight was a few cars over with his window down. D said, I'm Biggie's boy. Then Suge recognized him and gave him a dap. Counsel: what's a dap? James: a handshake. Counsel: did you leave D at the diner? James, smiling: that's a crazy question. Why would I do that? Counsel: I'm not asking what makes sense. I'm asking if you did. James: no. Counsel: you saw Cassie and Mr. Combs afterward? James: yes. Counsel: and Mr. Combs told you to drive? James: yes. Counsel: you don't know where he got the guns from, do you? James: no, I didn't even know. There were guns until I saw them on his lap. Counsel: have you ever been in a situation like that before? James: never. Counsel: you didn't say, I don't want to drive to Suge Knight with guns, did you? James: no. Counsel: what exactly were you doing before this job? James: I was a door-to-door salesman. Then I became a personal assistant. Counsel: and now you're driving with firearms to confront someone? James: it was not ideal. Counsel: you knew how to get to Mel's Diner? James: yeah, I went there all the time. Counsel: you'd never seen guns before? James: no. Counsel: so this was a radical departure from your job description, yes? James: that's the understatement of the day. Counsel: do you have immunity? James: ask my lawyer. I have some kind of offer, an agreement, a proffer. Counsel: did you tell anyone about this before today? James: only my wife. Counsel: did you meet with the government this morning? James: yes, briefly. Counsel: what did you talk about? James: what might come up during cross-examination? Counsel: did the Mel's Diner incident come up? James: not that I recall. Counsel: this was this morning? James: yes. Attorney: about your style. I'm dying to ask what they said, but I won't. I just have a few more mundane questions. David James, smiling: I love mundane questions. Attorney: where did you travel with Mr. Combs? James: Ibiza, London, Saint-Tropez. Attorney: were these trips vacations or business-oriented? James: they were presented as business, but often felt like vacations. Attorney: what was your official role? James: I was hired as a personal liaison, but in reality I functioned as a personal assistant. Attorney: he met a pretty high-level roster of people, right? James: that's the second understatement of the day. He met with a who's who of celebrities, executives, very important people. Attorney: so it was important. He be prepared for those meetings? James: yes, definitely. Attorney: was it important he be on time? James: not really. We often changed meetings to match his schedule. If he didn't feel like showing up at a set time, we'd adjust things. Attorney: He had security because people wanted to get close to him, right? James. Yes. Even in the airport or at McDonald's, people always tried to touch him. Attorney. Was he gracious with fans? James. I wouldn't use the word gracious to describe Sean Combs. Attorney. Did he sign autographs? James. No. Attorney. He'd stay in the studio until 3 or 4 a.m. James. Yes, and I'd be right there with him. That was common. Attorney. What kinds of things did he always want on hand? James. Ketchup, for example. He also liked applesauce. Attorney. Did you know he put applesauce on cheeseburgers? James. No, but I knew he liked applesauce a lot. Attorney. What other items did he often have? James. Astroglide condoms and baby oil. Attorney. Did you expense those through the company? James. Usually not. I was told he didn't want those purchases showing up in company records. Attorney. When you bought the 8-ball of cocaine in Saint-Tropez, did you tell Mr. Combs? James. No, he was asleep at the time. Attorney. Tell me about your relationship with Roger Bonds. James. We talked about Bad Boy as a family. Attorney. What do you mean by that? James. Mama Combs called me her son many times. Attorney. What was the mission? James. To make sure Mr. Combs, was happy. Attorney. Was it fun? James. I enjoyed it from time to time. Attorney. And your relationship with Chef Jordan? James. Strictly professional. Attorney. Did you ever choke her? Prosecution objects. Judge calls for a sidebar. Court resumes. Attorney. Tell me what happened. James. We were on Star Island. She told me where to take him, and I didn't agree. I grabbed her wrists and told her, stay in your lane. Attorney. Was there fallout from that? James. Yes. It was reported to corporate headquarters. Mr. Combs called me in and said, you can't be putting your hands on people. Attorney. He told you can't be putting your hands on women, correct? David James. Yes. Then he told me to give her a gift. Attorney. What did you give her? James. I rolled up a blunt and gave it to her. Attorney. Did she like it? James. It appeared that she did. Attorney. You were once in a car with Mr. Combs and Chris Lighty? James. Yes. Attorney. You've taken ecstasy before? James. I've partied, yes. Attorney. What was the atmosphere like in the studio? James. There were drinks. It was a creative environment. Attorney. Did you smoke while working with Mr. Combs? James. No, not usually. But once I thought he had gone in for the night, so I lit up. Attorney. What happened? James. He came back out and saw me. He said, what are you doing? I said, nothing. He replied, if you're man enough to smoke, you're man enough to tell me. So I said, okay, I'm smoking. Then he told me if I ever did it again, he'd fire me. Attorney. What about the time you picked up 2 women and had relations with one? Prosecution objects, judge overrules. James. One of them asked for $200. I called Bonds and asked, what the hell is this? She then asked to take a shower, and I told her, that's $200. Attorney. On that note, no further questions. Prosecutor. Let's talk about the incident in Alpine, New Jersey. You were asked to file a police report claiming that Chef Jordan was the aggressor, correct? James. Yes, but I didn't file the report. Instead, I drove around for a bit and then told Mr. Combs that I had filed it. Prosecutor. What have we asked you to do here today? James. Tell the truth. Prosecutor. Nothing further. With that, the testimony of Diddy's former personal assistant came to a close. The judge adjourned for the day. If you found this story gripping, don't forget to like the video. It really helps our channel grow. Got thoughts on the testimony or your own take on the Diddy trial? Drop a comment below. We'd love to hear from you. And if you enjoy dramatic, Real-life courtroom moments like this, subscribe and turn on the bell so you never miss a story.